Disaster movies of the 1970s featured a whole bunch of stuff. It could be birds, it could be bugs, it could be a ship, it could be a high rise or an earthquake. But this movie, whoever decided to put this together, the concept was interesting because it was stationary. Most of these disaster movies were not stationary. We're talking about a George Segal led movie called Rollercoaster. Now, directed by James Gladstone, came out in '77. It also featured Richard Widmark, Henry Fonda, and Timothy Bottoms. It was one of the few films to be shown in Sensurround, which used extended range bass frequencies to give a sense of vibration to the viewers during the coaster rides. Now, came out in June of '77, and this was kind of a busy time for movies that year, so it was kind of lost in the what they call the ether. Now, this one, an unnamed man sneaks into the Ocean View Amusement Park and places a small radio-controlled bomb on the tracks of the park's wooden roller coaster, the Rocket. The bomb detonates, causing the ride's train to derail, killing and injuring the riders as a result. Safety Inspector Harry Calder, who initially cleared the ride, is called to the park to investigate. A park worker tells Calder that he saw what he thought was a park maintenance man up on the tracks earlier that day, but did not state that the man was someone other than the park had authorized to be there. Now, the bomber causes a fire in a dark ride at another park in Pittsburgh. Calder suspects the incidents may be linked and learns that the executives of companies running the largest amusement parks in America are holding a meeting in Chicago. Calder flies to Chicago and intrudes on the meeting. One of the executives plays a tape sent by the bomber wherein he demands $1 million to stop his activities. Should have asked for more, like even to stop the movie. Now, back home, Calder is visited by FBI agent Hoyt, who says the extortion money is to be delivered by Calder at King's Dominion. There, Calder is ordered to wait on the telephone, and the bomber calls, warning him there's a bomb in the park. He sends Calder on a two-way radio so that he can keep contact, then orders Calder to go on various rides in the park, such as the Rebel Yell roller coaster. While Calder is riding on the Skyway, the bomber tells Calder that the bomb is located in the radio. He warns Calder not to throw it away because it will explode and impact on the paths below, which are occupied by many of the park's visitors. He orders Calder to falsely signal that he's made the delivery in order to distract the FBI, then leave the money on a bench. Calder complies and walks away. Later, Hoyt admits that he marked the money, violating the bomber's instructions. Calder demands to be sent home and leaves the bomb radio with the bomb squad. Back home, Calder gets another call from the bomber. He blames Calder for the marked money and threatens another attack. Assuming it will be directly at himself personally, he deduces that the next target will be the Revolution at Magic Mountain. The FBI rejects Calder's hypothesis, but decides to investigate anyway because the ride is scheduled to debut on July 4th, when park attendance will be highest for the season. Agents disguised as park maintenance men eventually find a bomb attached to the tracks and disarm it. The bomber returns to his car and gets a new bomb just as the Revolution is about to open. In order to get on board, he pays the park guest $100 for his gold ticket, which entitles the holder to be one of the first passengers. He places the bomb under his seat in the rear of the train. Following his first ride, Calder recognizes the bomber's voice during the ride exit interview with a reporter. He chases the bomber and alerts the agents that he may have placed something in the coaster train. The train leaves a chain lift on the second ride, though. The bomber is eventually cornered and threatens to blow up the ride, holding the detonator in his hand, while the agent tries to jam the signal. He demands a firearm. Calder takes one from an agent and begins to hand it to him. Agents succeed in jamming the detonator single and alert Calder. Calder retains the gun, but in doing so accidentally shoots the bomber, who then runs away. He hops the fence into the area below the Revolution and runs blindly, eventually circling back towards Calder. The bomber climbs onto the track but sees Calder and freezes. He is hit and killed by the coaster train, and the ride reopens following the accident. Now, George Segal plays Harry Calder, with Richard Widmark as Agent Hoyt, Timothy Bottoms as Young Man, Henry Fonda as Ivan Davenport, Harry Guinadierno as Kiefer, Susan Strasberg as Fran, Dorothy Tristan as Helen, and to what I see, her first appearance, Academy Award winner Helen Hunt as Tracy Calder. Now, this was the third film to be presented in Sensurround. Special low-frequency bass speakers were used during the roller coaster sequences. Sensurround was employed in only 3 other films released by Universal, including Earthquake and Midway, and a theatrical version of Battlestar Galactica, based obviously on the TV show. Sensurround is the biggest stars there in movies today, said Sidney Sheinberg, head of MCA. who attributed the better-than-expected success of Earthquake at Midway at the box office to the device. The film was announced in July '76. Director James Goldstone said the film was not a disaster movie, but a Hitchcock-like suspense cat and mouse story. Now, filming began on September 13th, '76. Several real amusement parks were used in the film for the various park and roller coaster sequences. Ocean View Park in Norfolk, Virginia was used for the first park in the film. Although the park was located on the Chesapeake Bay, it was described as a West Coast park in the film. Goldstone chose the park because of its old-fashioned feeling. The park's major wooden roller coaster, the Skyrocket, was renamed simply the Rocket for the film. King's Dominion in Doswell, Virginia also appeared in the film. Some of the rides featured in the film, such as Shenandoah Lumber Company and Rebel Yell wooden roller coaster, renamed Racer 75, still exists today. The final park we used was Magic Mountain, now called Six Flags, in Valencia, California. The park's Great American Revolution roller coaster was featured prominently in the film's climax. Now, originally, Kennywood was one of the locations to be used in the opening crash segment of the film, but after the park's owners declined their participation, the producers of the film ended up shooting the Wonderworld segment at King's Dominion instead. According to Goldstone, the 3 parks that appeared in the final film were chosen from over 20 candidates. Additionally, parts of the movie were filmed at the Hyatt Regency in Chicago. Now, ironically, the film features an appearance by the cult band Sparks for the roller coaster's opening concert, playing the songs Fill Her Up and Big Boy from the '76 album Big Beat. Sparks later cited their appearance in the film when asked about the biggest regret of their career. Depends who you're talking to, too. Now, the film's musical score was written by composer Lalo Schifrin. Now, despite having been released in late spring of '77 and being overshadowed by the smash hit Star Wars, it went on to be a moderate success at the box office. However, it was considered a financial disappointment, and Universal lost enthusiasm for Sensurround films. Now, according to stats, budget was $9 million and the box office was $8.2. Now, reviews were mixed on the movie. Vincent Canby of the New York Times called the film effective pop entertainment, but Gene Siskel of the Tribune, Chicago Tribune, gave the film 1.5 stars out of 4 and called it a traffic accident masquerading as a movie. Now, Charles Champlain of the LA Times wrote in a positive review that the film is not so much a disaster story as an unexpectedly articulate and well-polished piece of cat and mouse suspense, whose derivation is more Hitchcock than, say, Orwell Allen. Now, Variety said, the roller coaster rides and the pictures highlights that are fabulous. Time Out London felt that the results should have been sensational, but ultimately the filmmakers botched the job. Many of the best runs are interrupted by close-ups, and the filler plot is dumb in the extreme. Now, the film holds a approval rating of 53% on Rotten Tomatoes, based on 17 reviews. Now, you rarely see this movie show up on streaming or whatever, but like I said, the concept, you wanted to combine disaster movies with a Hitchcock feel, but it was a low-end cast. It was like Love Boat type casting. No offense, I don't know many people that's going to go see a movie just because George Segal is in it. If you would have had like a Paul Newman or a Robert Redford or like a Burt Reynolds, I think people would have shown. But Richard Widmark, again, he's just a very good workmanlike actor, and he did well. But, Henry Fonda, again, slumming and going all these disaster movies. He did City on Fire in Canada. That was his thing at the time, and, and Swarm as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's my take on Rollercoaster. If you liked the movie, let me know. If you didn't like it, don't say nothing. If you like what we're doing here, give us a like, comment, subscribe, or share. And don't forget, a disaster movie is only as good as your last 15 minutes. And this was a little bit better than the first 2 hours, as we say. Thanks for listening. Bye.